everybody, it's Catherine from Jane Catherine on Books, and it's hashtag March Mystery Madness. And as you know, there are about 20 of us that are co-hosting March Mystery Madness this year, and a big thank you to Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books for inviting me. Now, you will have seen 4 TBRs that I pre-booked them, but pre-filmed and put on as a starting block. And as many of you will know, I've been away from home for the last 3 weeks. I moved down. My mum who's been battling ovarian cancer for 4 years, was in hospital, and there was no more treatment available, so she wanted to come home and be looked after at home. And David and I went down there with Nelson, and yeah, I thought I'd be able to do this. We were able to nurse her at home, which is what she wanted. And she died on the 1st of March. And we had the funeral on Monday. But, sorry. I want to carry on doing my booktube channel because it's something that's going to keep me going. I thought about not doing it because you might not get a deal of sense out of me. You know what I'm like at the best of times. You don't always get sense. I don't know, perhaps that's why you like watching. So, you know, the show goes on, and I'll pay tribute to my lovely mum at the end. So I've got a selection of cozies for you, just for you to have a look at in case you've not come across these. So, I say so a lot, I realise. The first one is the Maggie Hope Mystery Series, and this is, it's a bit shiny. This is by Susan Ellie MacNeal. Now, this is Mr. Churchill's secretary, which is book 1. Now, obviously, this is in World War II. And when we've got Winston Churchill as the Prime Minister, a very good war Prime Minister in the UK. And I didn't realise that Winston Churchill's mother was American, actually. I didn't realise that. But we've got Maggie, and she's wanting to get in on the act of the Secret Service, and you know, she thinks that she can do it as admirably as the guys. So yeah, there's quite a few in this series, I think. 3 or 4 already written, I think. Yes. So have a look out for that. That might be something you're interested in. Next, now MC Beaton. You know, a lot of Cosy Crime series are written by MC Beaton over in the UK. She's got loads of different series, and I've not read all of them. This is the Agatha Raisin. Very well loved by many people, many booktubers, but I've not read any yet. And this is Agatha Raisin and the Vicious Vet. And she's like a bit like the Miss Marple, you know, Agatha Christie's Miss Marple. She's a sleuth, and from what I can gather, she's not this typical little old lady, dowdy, and you know, that goes off interfering busybody into everybody's lives. I think she's sort of more middle-aged and after the men a lot. She likes the men, does our Agatha Raisin, and I think this is about book 1 or 2. I think it's book 2, yeah. Quiche of Death is book 1. So have a look at that series. Then I've never seen this before, never seen this author before. I picked this up in a second-hand bookshop, but I just liked the look of it, and it's called The Last Tango in Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth, that's not an easy word to say if you're not Welsh, by Malcolm Pryce. And I think this is a bit of a, you know, how can we say, a noir, a bit of a black comedy, black cosy. And it says, to the girls who came to make it big in the What the Butler Saw movie industry, Aberystwyth is the town of broken dreams. To Dean Morgan, who teaches at the Faculty of Undertaking, it is just a place to get course materials, but both worlds collide when the Dean checks into the notorious bed and breakfast ghetto, a dark labyrinth of druid speakeasies, toffee apple dens, and receives a suitcase intended for the ruthless druid assassin. So I think and it's, yeah, quite dark, bit tongue-in-cheek, bit like the old movies, let's hide behind something in a dark raincoat type of book. So we'll see. Next, one of my favourite series that I do enjoy, one of my favourite cozies by MC Beaton, is the Hamish Macbeth series. You'll have heard me talk about old Hamish before. He's not that old actually, he's quite a young chap that's single, and he's based in the North Shetland Isles in Scotland, and you know he's got the local ladies after him because I think there's not much choice. That sounds awful, isn't it? They're not a massive population up in the Hebrides, and he's a lovely character. You get to really like him. He can be a bit lazy, a bit laid back. Not much happens in the, you know, not much crime happens in the Scottish Isles, and it's a bit like if people are a bit naughty or kids are putting things down into car petrol pumps, tanks and things like that, naughty little things that kids do, when he goes and gives them a clip round the ear. It's that sort of crime, but unfortunately we seem to be having rather a lot of murders up there recently. So this is just one of the series, Death of an Addict. I'm slowly working my way through them. This is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so it's actually it's a lot further down the series than I thought. It's quite far down. Yeah, quite far down, but I'll just collect them as I see them. So Hamish Macbeth, try that series out. It's a nice cosy, you know, the plots aren't bad. The thing I do enjoy is the plots, they are well written in as much that you can follow the plot, you can work, you know, try and work out who did it, as it were, and it's logical. I sometimes like it where you've got logical plots to follow, so that you enjoy trying to work out who it is that's killed them off. And I think actually Hamish Macbeth, excuse me, is a good series for that. Just has some apple juice, it's giving me burpees. Next, the Murder Most Unladylike collection, and I'm sure you've seen these around. They usually got different coloured, it's a lovely like cerise colour, different coloured covers. This is by Robin Stevens, and the Tips, Tricks and Tales from the Detective Society. So this is middle grade, and to all my Detective Society members everywhere, and it says, being an account of cases old and new from the Detective Society and the Junior Pinkertons, January 1936. So chapter 1, how to set up your own detective agency or society even. Can't read. Yeah, I like the look of this. Not read any of them, but the kids seem to can't wait for the next one to come out. So looking forward to giving that series a try. So really old cozies, misread. These are really old books. I found this second-hand bookshop recently. It's got that really old, you know, when the pages get fusty and old, and I sort of like books like that. You can pick up them all. And I noticed, I can't remember which booktuber is reading the Village Thrush series, something like that, and quite a few are joining in with that. Thrush Green, that's it, the Village of Thrush Green. And yeah, I've never read any by Miss Reed. I think they're a little bit old-fashioned, and obviously they're going to be back in the day. When was this one written? first written in, this was 72, so actually this was that the first edition? No, that wasn't the first edition, so I think they were about in the 60s or something like that when they were first brought out. So if you want very old quintessential British cosy crime, this read is one to give a try. They're getting a bit obsolete now, you've got to find them in second-hand shops. A lot aren't being republished. Next series, this is another new cosy series I haven't been involved in or read before, and Tasha Alexander, The Lady Emily Mysteries, and this one's Behind the Shattered Glass. And when death comes crashing through the window, love flies out the door. Oh, really? Anglemore Park is the ancestral home of Lady Emily's family, but the stately calm of country life is destroyed when their neighbour, the Marquis of Montague, bursts through the French doors and falls down dead in front of a shocked gathering. But who has a motive for murdering the young aristocrat? Goodness me, that's a bit of a shock. Somebody come crashing through your patio doors and then, you know, just goes and dies on your best rug. So yeah, my friend Kerry Ann from Woman vs Books sent me this. We have a bit of a book swap every month, and she said it's a favourite series of mum's. So looking forward to giving that one a try. There's lots of new series here. The last three are well-loved series by myself. They're not new, and you can tell look how old and battered this is. This is my original copy from 1971, and it's the Secret series, Secret of Mooncastle. This was one of my favourites, and what did it say on here? 2 shillings and 6pence, equivalent to 12.5 pence. It was in the 70s, and yeah, I loved Enid Blyton. I loved the Secret series. There's several of these. Different ones, and I think I might revisit all of them. I haven't got all of them. I mean, I've got quite a few left from when I was young, but I don't know where the rest went. And we've got Jack, Peggy, Mike and Nora. My nanan's name was Nora. So they have all sorts of adventures. A little bit dated nowadays. You know, a lot of people and they have, to be fair, they have a point to make. They're not always quite PC in today's world, and you know, it was very much of the day in the 70s. It was very much that, you know, the men were the main breadwinners. The women did work, but if they didn't, they would stay at home mums, and you know, the women did the housework, the men had their set roles. And that's just how it was, and sometimes I might come across, especially to younger generation, as you know, giving people sexist, racist, all sorts of other negative views about life. But to be honest, you know, I didn't grow up racist, sexist or bigoted by any means through reading these. This is just what it was like in the day. But Enid Blyton does a fantastic plots and does characterisations, and I loved her. So yeah, have a look at those. Next to last is the Bake Shop Mystery Series. Now, I've recently enjoyed book 2, I think I've read now. So this is quite a new series for me. It is by Ellie Alexander, and go and find her on Twitter and Instagram, and she's a really interesting lady to see what's coming up. And look at all those puddings and sweets. Very much crime and baking and pastry making, dessert making mixed in, which you can't ask for better, can you? Bit of crime and a few lovely puds to go with it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking the main character, Juliet Capshaw, and her mum, who run this bakery. And as I say, this is book 1 and I've just read book 2, Batter of Life and Death. I love those titles, I think they're amazing. Only thing is I don't like these. I mean, they are set in America, and I think a lot of the cozies over there seem to be of this mass paperback, yeah, it didn't sound right, paperback then. They're a bit small and annoying on your shelf. And then last but not least, we've got the Daisy Dalrymple mystery series. This is by Carola Dunn, and this was book 1, which I have already read and reviewed, Death at Wentwater Court. And I've recently read the second one, Winter Garden mystery. Really enjoying this series. Daisy Dalrymple is, it tends to be set in big old mansions. Daisy Dalrymple is of the upper class of Britain. Doesn't really have to work, she could be kept by her parents, but decides that she wants to work. She's a photographer journalist, and she's going around all these stately homes and mansions, etc., of the upper echelons of British society, and doing film spread and articles about these homes. It's a bit like Homes and Gardens, you know. And yeah, she always seems to come across a murder. It's all happening in these stately homes. But I'm enjoying her character, I'm enjoying the plot lines, I'm enjoying the inspector, I can't think of his name that's in it, but the police inspector, I feel there's a bit of a frisson there, a bit of frisson between them two starting to develop, so it'd be nice to see. And the other thing that I really like about Carola Dunn's writing is, although she does live in the States, she was born in Britain, and it's very much, you can tell, you know, sometimes when books are written, and I'm not criticising this, but I think if we're talking about quintessential Britain back in the day, you can tell if it's somebody that really understands the time in the writing. They can understand how it would all work and how everybody would act. And she gets that off to a T, Carola Dunn. She's marvellous. Whereas in comparison, I've started reading, well, my books are falling over now. I've started reading the Maggie Hope series. I'm struggling a bit because it's very much written for the American audience, so that's why I have recommended it, because to my lovely subscribers over in the States, I think you'd really enjoy this. But I prefer my cozies, if they are going to be covering especially the war, I like it to be dead on and accurate. So that's all. So that's what I think Carola Dunn. She's an American author, but she writes about quintessential historical Britain so succinctly, shall we say. So they're the recommendations for the cosy. Just a quick reminder, Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Go to the Goodreads, that is March Mystery Madness page, join that group, and there's a section under there for Catherine's read along. I can concentrate on this now back home. All go there, leave your comments, let me know how you're finding that, and don't forget the competition I'm running. If you go back to my introduction and announcement video, all the rules and what's happening about that is on there. So thank you very much for all the wonderful new subscribers I've got over this last 5 or 6 weeks, and I'd just like to thank you all very much for the love and support that many of the wonderful friends I found through BookTube have sent me, you know, since I lost my mum. And just want to leave you with a little bit of a photo montage of my mum. So see you again next time. Bye for now.